Have you ever caught yourself saying, no worries? Well, I'm Steph.
And I'm Steph, and we have some worries. Hi, everyone. I'm Steph with an F.
And I'm Steph with a PH. And welcome back to Some Worries, the podcast brought to you by two anxious bitches.
Hang out with us today in our very last episode of the season as we talk about our favorite things of 2022.
Oh my God. Last episode.
Speaking of which, this is one of my favorite things of 2022, though.
Right?
We have to talk about that first.
We have to talk about that. Number one on the list is us doing this podcast together.
Yes, because this was super fun. I can't believe it's the last episode. Like,
I know. It's
we did.
wild.
This is 10 episodes. We did 10 episodes of a podcast.
I don't know how we did that.
I don't either.
Amazing.
We're amazing. We're one of my favorite things of 2022.
That's right. We're the best. We're the best in the best. That's right.
So we've got multiple categories of our favorite things. I think we should start with TV shows, though. Does that sound good?
I think that sounds great. And I think we should add to, at least I'm going to add this. Steph, you're very up on things. I am not. I spend a lot of my time in my writing cave. So these are things that, on my list at least, they're new to me. They might not have come out this year, but this was the year I actually was like, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to read that. So little caveat at the top.
That's fair enough. I think most of my things came out this year. So we'll have a good mix, though. It'll be a good mix of new releases and older releases.
Exactly. We're bringing in the backlist. Some of the stuff you might have missed will be most of my list, and then your list will be the new up and coming stuff.
Yes. We are also not going to go into too much detail because I had a really hard time trying to narrow it down. It was supposed to be top 10. Mine's a little bit longer than that. I think I did cut a couple things though, so I think it's 12 now, which I think is okay.
Respectable. Yes.
But we're not going to go into too much detail, but we will put the full list of our top things, both of us, in the description and in the show notes if you are interested in looking them up. So my first TV show, this is actually the 6th season, so it kind of counts and it kind of doesn't count because it's been around for a long time. But I have to say Big Mouth season 6. I know you are not surprised at all.
Nope, not at all.
It is my absolute comfort show. The 6th season came out, I think, in October, and I've already watched it 3 times. So highly recommend if you want a raunchy but emotional and really just really good animated show. It's on Netflix.
Perfect. Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to be on your list because I feel every time we're texting, you're like, oh, I'm watching Big Mouth again. Oh, I was feeling a little anxious this weekend, so I put Big Mouth on, and I was doing crafts. And so I'm not surprised.
I wish that Netflix would give you a how many times you've watched something, because it's got to be legitimately 25 times.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you play, I know you don't play a ton of video games, but in video games, it'll tell you how many hours you've played the game. It's you need that for Big Mouth, just to tell you how many hours you spent.
It might depress me a little bit.
I mean, I think you love what you love, and it's kind of impressive if you can put that much time into something. I think it's cool, but I'm also the person who will spend 100 hours playing a video game and be like, that was fun. So maybe I'm not the best barometer.
I don't watch it really anymore, though. It's just that show that's always on in the background kind of thing. Yeah. All right. What about you?
Okay. So the top of my TV show list this year was Rings of Power, which is streaming on Amazon Prime. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan anyway. I have the extended versions of the Lord of the Rings movies that Peter Jackson did back in the 2000s. Early 2000s. It's still the 2000s. I don't know why I said that as though we're in a new century.
Well, now it's the 2020s. Is it still the 2000s?
It's a different decade. So
yeah, exactly.
We'll roll with it. But yeah, I'm just a big fan. Love Lord of the Rings. So I was really excited about that coming out. And I was a little bit nervous too, because sometimes when you really love something, you're worried that it's just not going to live up to any of your expectations. And I went into it kind of thinking, of it as Lord of the Rings fan fiction, and that worked for me because I was like, this is a person's interpretation.
Yeah.
And overall, I thought they did a great job. I really enjoyed it. My only qualm is that I feel like some of the actors, most of them in my mind look like hobbits, but they got cast as elves in some cases. I'm like, they should have cast that person as a hobbit. There's something about like some of the actors that in my brain are coded as hobbit. And so that was really weird for
Now
me.
I want to know who you're talking about, though.
Elrond is one. I'm like, they should have cast him
Yeah,
as a
he looks
hobbit.
weird as
He
an
looks,
elf.
he doesn't look like an elf to me. He looks like a hobbit to me. And there's nothing wrong with looking like a hobbit or looking like an elf, but it really threw me off the entire time I was watching. But I mean, if that's my only complaint, I think they did a great job. So
Yeah,
fantastic show.
that would have been on my list too. I really liked that show.
Yeah, it's really great.
So another one of mine is also fantasy that I think you should watch,
Oh, okay.
is The Sandman,
Oh yeah.
which is on
Hmm.
Netflix. It was incredible. Such an incredible adaptation of the graphic novels by Neil Gaiman. I just really loved it, and it was so beautiful. So it's
Hmm.
like similar in that sense because I thought The Rings of Power was also really beautiful.
Yes, definitely.
Um, so really
Yeah.
cool world building and magic, and yeah, I
Hmm.
really liked it.
That's good. That almost made my list. The reason it didn't is because I still haven't finished it, and it felt unfair to put it on my list when I'm not done with it yet. But
You
it,
gotta
this
finish
I haven't finished it yet. It makes me sad. I love it, but it makes me sad. So I have to like be able to partner it up with something exciting afterwards that'll help lift my spirits. So I just haven't quite been in the place to watch the last few episodes, especially because I know one of them is the cat episode, and I feel really strongly about cats, and I'm going to need to
Well, the
emotionally
cat
prepare.
episode is like a bonus episode after the season. So
Yeah,
you
maybe
don't
I
really need to
finish.
watch it.
That's true. I could just finish the season. I think I'm like 1 or 2 episodes away from being done, but yeah, it definitely like you said, it's beautiful, and it's really great. I do enjoy it a lot, but I'll get around to it. Maybe it'll be on my 2023 list when I finish it.
Yeah. All right. What's your next one?
So my next one is another. We'll stick with fantasy. So another fantasy show I really enjoyed was The Legend of Vox Machina. And Steph, I don't know how much you know about like Critical Role. This it's like a Dungeons and Dragons role
Just
play
out,
thing.
that's all I know.
Yeah. So what this is they took the Critical Role people took their first campaign, their Vox Machina campaign, and turned it into a TV show, like an animated show,
Oh,
and it's on Amazon Prime. And so I watched that this year, and it was really great. I really enjoy Critical Role, but there are so many episodes, and I cannot keep up. I've tried with every new campaign to like stay on top of it, but I'll get I don't know, 5 or 6 episodes in because they spend 3 to 4 hours on each session, and there are like hundreds of them for each campaign. And at some point, I always fall off the horse, and I'm like, I can't get back on this horse because this horse is already 12 miles down the road. So I was really excited about this because it's a way for me to enjoy that campaign in a different format that I could just watch a nice chunk of it, a good season. And it was really great. It had like all of the fun humor, all of the great character stuff that Critical Role does well, all in this like animated format. So it was fantastic. I don't know if you
that's
would
really
enjoy it.
cool.
You should try it. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
I
like
might
fantasy
try it.
stuff. And it is
Yeah.
kind of raunchy too. Some of the humor is pretty raunchy, so you might enjoy that. It might be like it's not the same as Big Mouth, but it might like scratch that particular itch as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's so interesting? This is a complete side note. Like, I don't usually like super raunchy. I
Hmm.
feel like Big Mouth is like such a weird exception for me and my personality because it's
Hmm.
not a normal thing that I would like,
Hmm. I think it's
you
the
know?
humor. It's because I'm the same way.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I don't
really funny.
if like the humor is really good because I feel the same way about shows like Archer. Like that it's there are parts of, I don't know if you've seen Archer, but there are episodes that are like very raunchy and like the humor can be very raunchy, but it's also like some of the humor is very smart and just very funny and it works somehow and makes it's not just one note. It's not just raunchy. It's like it's raunchy and it's funny, or it's raunchy and it's smart, or it kind of hits
Yeah.
on these different areas. And I feel
Yeah.
like similar, like that's probably what is appealing about Big Mouth. Like from the what little bit I've seen, I've mostly just seen clips, but it seems like it's a very smart show that also like
It
has some
is,
of
and it
those
is
moments.
really good at its depiction of mental health,
Mm,
which I really like. Like
yeah.
the anxiety and the depression is like it's really good, which
Hmm.
for an animated show is interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, so my next one is Sort of. It's not fantasy. It's more sci-fi.
Okay.
Stranger Things,
Oh yeah. Okay.
obviously.
Not a surprise.
Which I feel like we waited my entire life for this season. And we're gonna wait another lifetime for the next season, but
Of
it's
course.
okay. This season, I've loved Stranger Things since the beginning, but the first season had a very particular feeling that the second and third season didn't really have.
Mm.
This season has that same feeling, at least for me.
Oh, that's great.
So it went back to like horror. It went back to that like nostalgia. And also Vecna is like a really good villain monster. And if you haven't watched Stranger Things, it's on Netflix. There's 4 seasons. Highly recommend.
Yeah. I got to get on that train too. That's on my eventually I'll get to it
I
list.
don't know if you would like it though, because like
I
you
want to
don't
try
like jump
it.
scares.
Yeah. I still want to try it because everybody talks about like how great it is and like how cool the characters are and sometimes I can get past that, the jump scariness if I know that it's good.
Okay.
So I want to give like the first season a try, but I I don't know
It's
when I'll
funny
get to
because
it.
I think the first season has the most jump scares.
Should I
So
start with
just
another a different
prepare
one?
yourself. No, you have to start with season
Okay.
one because like that's how you get to know 11, who like in later seasons is more normal and not
Mhm.
normal, obviously. She has superpowers, but like you have to get to know her in the first season first, in
Okay.
my
Is
opinion.
this the Millie Bobby Brown character? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
She's the one that I dressed up for as for Halloween.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. But it's really good. So I hope you do try it one day. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll wait until our next in-person retreat and then we can watch
Oh,
it.
yeah. And then I can just like grab your arm every time I'm terrified
Yeah.
and you can be
There
like,
you go.
it's okay, calm down.
And I could be like, all right, get ready.
Yeah, like prepare, cover your eyes. I do sometimes
Yeah.
need that. I need the person to tell me when to cover my eyes. Perfect. Good plan.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, what's
Cool,
your
cool,
next
cool.
one?
So my next one is something that we watch together. Speaking of like us getting together and watching things when we do get together, because we live on opposite sides of the country right now. Um, we watched Our Flag Means Death this spring, and
Yes.
oh my god, so good. I love it
So good.
so much. It's so funny. The humor, it reminds me of a lot of like the Flight of the Conchords humor, the humor that I like in like What We Do in the Shadows. It really
Hmm.
has that New Zealand flair, you know, and it is
Yeah.
just the characters are all so great. I love it so much. It is so much fun.
That one is on my list, so I'm glad you said it because now
Perfect.
I'm closer to 10.
Yes.
I fucking love that show and it is super gay. So
Yeah,
that's
it
fun.
is. And it's funny because like you were telling me that, like you and our mutual friend Mary were like, this is a really cool show. It's very gay. And I was like, okay, sure, sounds good. And but it's actually like really gay. Like sometimes people will say like something's gay and it's like kind of you can kind of see it if you squint. Like they really like front the characters and it's like the sexuality is right there. And it's kind of amazing because you don't see that in a lot of media. And we're seeing it
Yeah.
more now, but it's just really fun to actually see like a real like gay character on screen being gay rather than
And
like
it's not
they're
like a
gay.
thing. It's not like, oh my
No,
God, that character is gay. It's just
no.
like
It's just
they're
this is what
gay.
it
They're
is.
non-binary. They're who they are.
And
And
it's not like
yeah.
a huge thing. It's just part of their character. Yeah, absolutely. Love it so much. Oh, and the non-binary character on the show. I love them
I'm
so
obsessed with
much.
them. I follow
Oh,
them on TikTok. They're so hot.
mhm. That and that
Just
whole storyline. Oh,
hmm.
it's just it's beautiful. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see how that plays out in the next season. I'm honestly just so excited for the next season to come out and see like
I'm
what
just
happens with
glad
all the
there is
characters.
a second season. I was worried it wasn't going to get renewed.
I would have been shocked if they didn't because like so many people watched it and everybody who watched it loved it. I mean, I very rarely saw people complaining about it because it's one of those things where if you were not into it, you'll probably know by the first episode and you're not going to like spend a whole season on it. People were invested in this show. They like saw the first
Hmm.
couple episodes and they're like, "I'm in, you got me. Like let's go. Let's
Yeah.
do this." So,
Give me more. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm glad that they renewed because they would be foolish not to. Like I don't know, HBO would just be by the way, it's on HBO. I forgot to mention also
Oh
for
yeah,
Legend of Vox
HBO Max.
Machina.
Yeah.
Legend of Vox Machina is on Prime, and then Our Flag Means Death is on HBO. I just got like a month of HBO just to watch this show. That's how great it is.
It really is.
So good.
I'm glad that was on your list.
Yes.
Okay, so that was our TV shows. That's a really good list. Do
Yeah.
we want to do movies next?
Let's do some movies, which is going to be
All
your
right.
category to conquer. You're the queen of
Yeah,
movies.
I know that I have way more than you, so I'm gonna
Yes.
start.
You start. I think I only have like one movie on my list. So whenever you want my movie, you let me know. Otherwise, let's hear your
Okay.
list.
Should I just go through my list and then we'll do yours at the end? Because like
Perfect.
I have five.
Yeah. Let's roll with you first. Your top movies for the year.
Okay. Number one movie for the year is a lot of people's number one movie for the year. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Hmm.
I think it's on HBO Max. I saw it in theater. I'm not sure what
I
streaming service it's on.
I feel like I looked it up the other day because I wanted to watch it because I know it's good. I have not seen it yet, and I wanted to try to watch it before we recorded this so it could be on my list if I really liked it, which I'm sure I will. I think it might be on Paramount Plus also. Don't
Oh,
quote me on that, but I remember looking it up and being like, "Oh, I can watch that." And I know I have Paramount Plus. I don't have HBO, so I feel like I that was the one I saw it on. I don't know. Don't quote
okay.
me on it, but it might be available there now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Um, this movie is fucking incredible. I mean, like, blew my mind the entire time. It is, I, this is a joke, but it's my multiverse of madness. Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange was supposed to be an actual multiverse movie, and I don't really count it as. It did, but it didn't. This is my multiverse of madness. It was insane, but it's also really emotional. It has some incredible performances. I will stop now because I could talk about this movie forever. But also, there's a multiverse or a universe where they have hot dog fingers. That's all you fucking need to know. It is amazing.
That's it. That's all you need. Hot dog fingers.
It's such a good movie, though. Next, and the rest of these are like in no particular order. That one just had to be at the top. The next one is The Batman
Oh yeah.
with Robert Pattinson.
That came out this year?
Um, that came out this year. I know. I was putting this list together and I was like, what is time?
Right. That's
Because
so wild.
yeah, it came out earlier this year.
Wow.
Um, it's so good. Batman, I mean, Batman is like a huge thing for me. I love Batman. I really love Robin, and I wish we could get a freaking movie with a real Robin and not some bullshit at the end where it's like Joseph Gordon-Levitt might be Robin. Anyway, but it is just such a good movie. And like when Robert Pattinson got announced as Batman, I was like, I don't know about this. Because like, he's Edward in Twilight. You're kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, but
Yeah.
he's actually a really good actor. I've seen other movies he's in. He's a really good actor. I think he did a really great job. So love that movie. My next one is Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a perfect movie. I have to say that. It's not a perfect movie. But for people like me who like really love Marvel movies and have like been a Marvel fan since the first Iron Man and really loved Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman's death was like devastating.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was also like such an incredible human. I think they did a really great job of honoring his death. I cried like at least 3 times,
Sure.
which,
Sure.
like in the entire Marvel universe, I've cried 2 other times.
Mm.
When Tom Holland gets snapped away, because that shit was fucking sad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when Tony Stark died. Spoilers, sorry if you don't know that by now. Like, yikes.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel, these movies have been out for a while. You've had time.
Yeah. So I think they did a really incredible job. And it's also just like a really good movie. I think that the performances by Angela Bassett and Letitia Wright were really good. And then we've got Tano Huerta, who plays Namor, who is just like every scene he's in, he steals it. So really good movie, really great Marvel movie.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, that's another one that's on my to watch list at some point
Yeah,
when I'm
it'll
done
be
with
on
my
Disney
book.
Plus in another month or two
Yeah,
probably. So
exactly.
just
That's
wait.
that's what I wait on. It's like when it's in the
Yeah.
When it's in Disney Plus, then I'll give it a gander.
Yeah. So I have two more. I'm sorry. I could talk about movies forever.
That's
Like
what this
Steph knows,
is. Yeah.
I go to the movies all the time. I watch movies at home all the
Mhm.
time.
You're like a movie
The,
person. Yeah, it's
I'm
your
a
thing.
movie person. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next movie, I was not expecting it to be this good, and I was like shocked that it made it into my top five.
Oh,
But
now I'm
it's The
excited.
Menu.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So this one, the trailer was like, this could be good or this could be like a shit show.
Mhm.
But it has Nicholas Hoult, it has Anya Taylor-Joy, and it has Ralph Fiennes. And so I was like, I'm gonna go see it. I walked out of that theater like, what the fuck? I was not expecting it to be anywhere near as good. Basic setup is Ralph Fiennes is a world-renowned chef who invites a bunch of people to his like remote island house where he and his staff all live. And then people start getting murdered.
Ooh.
So I won't say anything else about the plot, but it's like a really incredible portrayal of like foodie culture, like especially the douchebags in foodie culture,
Mm-hmm.
and then also like rich people and like privilege. There are some jokes in there that like I was cackling in the theater, and I wasn't the only one. Like
Yeah.
it's really funny, but then it's a thriller, but then it's like this foodie movie. It is so weird, but so good.
That's amazing.
So
You know I love a
highly
good murder
recommend.
mystery. Like that sounds really cool.
But it's not a mystery. You know who's doing it.
Oh, okay. So you know the whole time. It's just that the characters don't know. Okay.
Yeah, it I don't the characters know too.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like everybody knows what's happening almost right
Oh,
away. They just don't know why.
okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird movie. It's like
Hmm.
it's weird, but it's amazing.
Okay. Well, let me know when it's stream in.
Oh, I will because I will be watching it again.
Yeah. It sounds like it's worth a rewatch.
Oh, for sure, 1,000 times. Okay, so my last one is Bones and All,
Oh, yeah.
which just came out recently. Well, while we're recording it, it just came out
Yeah.
recently. I'm not going to go into any detail other than to say Timothy Chalamet, cannibal romance.
There you go. That's all you
And
need.
like, not the cannibal part, but just this movie was like 1,000% my shit. Not the cannibalism, because I'm not a cannibal, but
We can't
like,
stress that enough. Steph is not a
I cannot
cannibal.
stress that enough that it's not the cannibal part, but it is just fucking weird and wild and like really romantic.
Hmm. Romantic horror.
Romantic cannibals. Yeah.
Love it.
But it's the same director who did Call Me by Your Name, which Timothy Chalamet was also in.
Hmm.
So it has a similar vibe to that, but with
Okay.
cannibals.
But with cannibals. Now with more cannibals.
So yeah, so those are my top 5 movies. I could have put together a top 10 list of just movies because, like I said, I want to count. I think I've seen at least 100 movies this year, if
Oof.
not more.
That's so
So
many. That's amazing.
I just I love movies. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just something about that storytelling method that I really like.
Hmm.
So you only have one. So
I only
what
put
is
one.
your top
So
movie of the year?
my top movie, I decided to include this on my list because I didn't know this movie was out until you told me. And it was
Oh,
delightful. And I just want to put it on the list here so if people are listening, they know it exists because Netflix is not putting it out there. It's the second Enola Holmes movie, Enola Holmes
oh
2.
yeah, I
It
love that
was it
movie.
was so cute. I loved it
It
so
is.
much. And I loved like the character growth. If you haven't seen the first Enola Holmes movie, that's also fantastic. But the second one, like you really got to see more of the characters and everybody's kind of messy, which I loved.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was so great. And I had no idea. Like you mentioned it to me, Steph. We were chatting about something else, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I watched the, next Enola Holmes movie." And I'm like, "Whoa. Wait, what? When did this happen? Netflix didn't put anything out." I'm like,
Yeah.
"How?" How could
Yeah.
you do that? So anyway, the second Enola Holmes, it's fantastic. It's, much like the first one, there's like a mystery you kind of have to solve. And, Enola is kind of trying to do it by herself and trying not to be overshadowed by her big brother Sherlock. And the way that the storylines come together is really fun. So highly recommend
But
that.
this one has way more Henry Cavill, which
It
I
does.
really liked. Henry
Yeah.
Cavill is like hit or miss for me, but
He's great
him
in
as
these.
Sherlock Holmes in these movies, like
Yeah.
it's what he was made to play,
I think
weirdly.
so. Yeah, he does such a great job, and I love like the playfulness of the character in this particular one. Because in the first one, you didn't see a lot of him as Sherlock, and he seemed very buttoned up. This one, you definitely he's messier, and I'm like, yes, this is Sherlock because Sherlock is messy, and I just
Yeah,
really liked seeing all of that. So, such a
me
great
too.
movie.
And I won't spoil it, but the thing at the end,
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to the next movie.
I know, me too. Oh, I'm so excited.
So this is just a side note and a tip for you and for anyone else who's listening. If you
Hmm.
utilize Netflix, I would highly recommend looking at the new and popular section. That's how I
Oh,
find out about a lot of movies. So if you're like if it's on your TV and you go over to the side menu where it has like search and home, you can click on new and popular and it will give you movies and TV shows that are coming out this week, coming out next week, and then they call it worth the wait, which usually means like in the next couple of months.
oh,
And then you can click it and it will give you a reminder and it will send you
oh.
a reminder email if you have that set up, and then also give you like a little notification
Hmm.
when it's out. And so that is how I found out about Enola Holmes, because like you said, Netflix for some reason was not promoting it.
No, that's
Um,
amazing. Okay, that's a great tip. I'm gonna set that
yeah,
up after this. I'm gonna
yeah.
go
I
put up
usually go
Netflix.
look at it like once a week because there's like a lot, and it gives you Netflix originals and just shows and movies that are coming to the platform. So
Mm,
it's great.
yeah.
Highly recommend you do that.
Oh, perfect. Yay. Oh, good. I'm glad that we're getting some cool tips in here too. Like I need them. I
Yeah,
need all the help I can get finding good TV and stuff. So that's amazing.
there you go. So our next category is books,
Books.
which I believe you have quite a few more than me in this category.
Yeah,
So we're
we're
flip-flopping. So do
flip-flopping.
you want to start with this one?
Yeah, let me start off. Let me consult my list here. Um,
Oh, mine's on my phone. You wrote yours
oh,
down?
I wrote mine down. I don't, there's
Oh.
something about writing it down on a little notepad that feels more official. So that's what I did. So the first book, I'm cheating a little bit. This is two books, it's a duology, but I didn't want to have 11, so I'm smushing them together. And that is Hannah Witten's For the Wolf and For the Throne, that duology.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's just like when you were talking about how Bones and All is just completely your shit minus the cannibalism. Like this book, this series is just fully 100% all of the things I love. Like it's just so good. And I remember I read this book, the first one in the series. I read it and then I'm pretty sure I texted you and our mutual friend Mary and I said, "Oh my God, guys, I think this is a comp for the book I'm writing right now." And I was like freaking out because it was just kind of amazing to read something that had like the same feel as what I'm writing right now. And it's just so good. I don't want to ruin anything, but it's about two sisters and about this kind of generational, I don't want to call it a curse, but it's a generational practice that they're expected to follow that is pretty devastating to their relationship. And it's about how they navigate that together. And it has like brooding hero, it's got like a forest vibes, it's very autumnal. It's so great.
Is there a romance?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Both sisters have a romance. So it's like romance, fantasy, there's magic. It's very much like kind of if you're cottagecore fantasy kind of person, this will be your jam too. It is chef's kiss. It's just great.
I own the first one and I'm putting together the books that I'm going to take home for the holidays.
Mm.
So I think I'm going to go put that in my
You should
suitcase.
put it in your suitcase. It's the romance is great. Oh my god. Yeah, brooding hero, you meet him brooding in a library. Like
Oh,
what more do you
shit.
want? What more do you
Sold.
want?
Sold.
So good. Yes. So definitely recommend that one.
Amazing.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to cheat as well. You only did 2 as one. I'm doing
Hmm.
6 as one.
That's impressive. Well done.
So, Martha Wells' Murderbot Diaries.
Hmm.
They're all novellas except for one is like more novel length.
Oh.
I listened to all 6 of them as audiobooks over the span of like a week. I could not get enough.
Mm.
Um, they're sci-fi, they're set in space. Murderbot is a human uh what do they call it? An android?
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. He's parts and human, like
Okay.
mechanical and human.
Hmm.
Um and I love him. Like it's weird to say that they are very comforting because he's a murder bot. Like his whole job is to like kill people, but also he's like a security guard kind of for this research group. And I love Murderbot. I love them.
I love
Just
Murderbot. That's
I
the
love Murderbot.
end of story.
And I cannot wait for more. I think according to Goodreads, there's like 9
Oh,
contracted, so
that's
at
amazing.
least 3 more. Honestly, I would read about Murderbot for the rest of my life. Like I wish there was like 30 of them.
You're gonna be like 99 years old, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm gonna read Murderbot number 274."
Exactly. I love Murderbot. And I keep telling you that you need to read them
Yeah,
too.
I will. It is on my Christmas list. I gave my husband a list of things I wanted for Christmas. Murderbot is on it, like the 6 that are out now. So we'll see. And then if not, I'll just go buy it in January because that's what I do.
Yeah.
I put it on my Christmas list, and if I don't get it, I just go buy it because I'm an
Yeah.
adult and that's how I live my life, especially with
As
books.
you should. As you
Exactly.
should.
Yes. So I will be on that train. Maybe this will be on my list for 2023 because I will be joining the
Yes.
Murderbot crew probably in January.
Yes. Amazing. Okay.
Yes.
What is your next book?
My next book list. Check. Um, oh, we both love this book. So this might be on your list too. Nona the Ninth. Uh,
Yup. Mm-hmm.
Nona.
That
Oh
book
my
is
God.
fucking insane.
It is. It
It's
is, but it's
insane.
so good. It's so for those who don't know about this amazing series, the Locked Tomb series, it's it's just amazing. I don't even really know how to fully describe it. It's like science fantasy, so there's like elements of like necromancy, magic kind of stuff, but it's also very based in science too. So it's a
Especially
futuristic,
this one.
especially this one. This one is very much like you're on this kind of scrappy planet hanging out with Nona. Nona has no memory of who she is. She just kind of woke up and was like, "Hey, I'm Nona and I'm going to do all these things." Her best friend is a six-legged dog. Like it's just so delightful. And the whole time it's helping to further some of the questions that we've had throughout the series because this whole series is bonkers. Completely
It's
bananas pants.
insane.
Yeah, like this is the kind of you need to have like charts up on your wall and like strings connecting them to try to remember like who's who and what how are they connected. And I went into this book with so many theories. It's just one of those books that it's really fun and enjoyable, but it's also a puzzle the whole time you're reading the series. And so
Mm-hmm.
Nona was fantastic. We also didn't realize Nona was going to happen. Nona just appeared because it was supposed to be a 3-book series, and then the author was like, "JK, here's this extra book," and so now we have Nona, this 3rd book that's like in the middle of the series. We didn't expect to get it, and now we still have another one that's coming, and I'm
I'm
so
like
excited.
really thankful for that because
Yes.
I don't want it to only be 4 books. But
Yeah.
also like I get like a like mind bend kind of weird headache
Mhm.
kind of thing when I read them because they're so wild.
They are. Yeah.
Tamsyn Muir is like literally a genius.
Yeah.
How she wraps all of these things together and I
Mhm.
a genius.
Absolutely. This is like up there for me. I think I mentioned this in our books episode when I was talking about N.K. Jemison's Broken Earth series and how I was just like, how did she do this? Like, how did she put this together? Did she have all of the books written and then and then put them out. Like, how did she like put it all so masterfully together? And then Tamsyn Muir like takes it to the nth degree of, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, the architecture that went into creating this series. It's insane.
I want to
Her,
see like her series Bible.
yeah, her like
She's got to
outlines.
have, yeah,
Yeah, she's got to have just as much as she's written in book, she must have in just reference material to help keep track
yeah,
of
you
everything.
can't pants. You
You can't
can't,
pants that.
right? Like this cannot be pantsed.
You can't pants that. No, absolutely not. That it is just so masterfully crafted. So
Yeah.
I think I'm
I
talking way
mean,
too
like
much
she
about
wrote,
Nona, but she's amazing.
she's amazing. If anyone listening hasn't read these books, like the first book is like one of my favorite books of all time.
Yeah.
The second book is written, almost the entire book is written in second person,
Hmm.
which no, it shouldn't work. It shouldn't. Like
But it's perfect.
I started reading it and I was like, absolutely fucking not. I had to listen to it as an audiobook because I
Oh yeah.
couldn't do it.
Hmm.
But then once you find out why, which like you kind of start to guess,
Hmm.
but it's just like
Yeah.
it's wild. It's
Hmm.
wild.
It is. And Kay Jemison does the same thing, second person in her series. And it's very jarring at first. And then you realize why. And you're like, ah, damn, that's brilliant. Like that makes perfect sense. So it's, I kind of love effective use of second person in that way because it can be kind of jarring. And you're like, why is this here? But when it's done really well, it's
Hmm.
amazing. It's
It's
so
really
good.
hard to pull off,
It
but
is. But she does
it
it.
can be done.
Hmm.
She does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the second book on my list. So, what is your next book?
So, my next book is a horror novel that came out this year that I really enjoyed. It's called Juniper and Thorn, and it's by Ava Reid. It's just, it's very much horror, you know, and we've talked about this in previous episodes how I don't watch a lot of horror, but I will read it. That's
Hmm.
kind of the divide for me. And this was like pretty gruesome, but really good. And it had really strong romance elements. The mystery was really great to kind of piece together. You get it like little bits at a time, and then you hit the ending and you can kind of see everything that was set up along the way. And it's very well crafted. And it also like deals with all of these interesting dynamics of like old versus new, tradition versus industry. It brings all of these things together in just a really fascinating way. And it's just so well written too. I mean, at a sentence level, it's really beautiful. So I highly recommend that. If folks are a fan of horror with a little bit of fantasy, with a little bit of romance, it's a great read.
I mean, that's a good pitch. That
Mm-hmm.
sounds good.
It's good. It's good.
I'm going to add that to my list. I'm trying to only read books that I own right now, but
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to do when you come across something that you're like,
You
"Oh, I
know,
want to
maybe you'll own it if you get it for Christmas or something. Maybe if a friend sent it to you, you would then own it and then you could read it.
read." Maybe.
Perhaps.
You got more?
I got more. You got more?
I don't have any more books. I'm
No
done with books.
more? Okay.
Well, okay,
You
you
focused
know
on
this.
movies because you're a movie
I
person.
focused on movies, but also until like October, I was hardly reading. And
Hmm.
then from October through now, I've been reading a ton, but nothing that has gotten into my top.
Yeah, perfectly fair. Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. I have one more book that I'll share.
Okay.
And I don't know, we've talked about this. I don't know if you've read it yet. It's Circe by Madeline Miller. I don't know if you've
That
read
was
it.
packed in my bag to take home.
Oh,
So I'll be reading
excellent.
it soon.
Yes. Speaking of books that are just beautiful at a sentence level, the writing is stellar and it just was so evocative. The character was just amazing. I don't want to say a lot about it because I think it's a good book to go into not really knowing what it is or what to expect. But it is just, it's a beautiful book. And the ending I found really moving. It is a book that made me, even though it's a book about like gods and mythology, it's very much a book about being human and what it means to be human. And it's very touching in a
You
lot
know,
of
that's my
ways.
jam.
I
I love
know.
books like that.
Exactly. I think it's going to scratch that itch for you. Like the ending, I definitely cried a little bit because it was just like so moving from like a human level. And I don't want to say any more than that, but it's just such a good book. And I know other people have read it mostly. Like I'm pretty late to this party, but if you haven't read it yet, do it. The hype is real. It is very good. And again, it's beautifully written too. So even just enjoying it a chapter at a time is also just nice because you get to enjoy the way that it's written and enjoy the wordplay. So very good.
I'm excited to read
Yeah, I can't wait for you to read it. You'll have to tell me
it.
how you feel.
I'll text you while I'm reading it.
Yes,
Updates,
perfect.
live time.
Yeah.
All right, so we have 3 categories left with one thing in each, and you're gonna start with video games.
Yes. So I have not played a ton of video games this year. Well, I should say I haven't played a lot of new video games this year. I replayed a lot of Skyrim and Animal Crossing and all of these things I just enjoy playing as comfort plays.
Mm-hmm.
But a game I started actually playing and like really sat down and played it most of the way through. I'm still not 100% done, but it's one of those games you can keep playing kind of forever. It's called Hades. I don't know if you've heard of it, Steph, but
From
it's
you.
for me. Yes, it's so good. It's also mythology, and it's you follow the main character who is the son of Hades, and he's trying to get out of the underworld. And I won't say why because I don't want to spoil anything, but you're doing the same thing every single time. You are repeatedly trying to break out of the underworld, and you keep doing it over and over again. But along the way, you're getting like these extra like boons and supports from the Olympian gods who are trying to help you like escape your father, because have
Okay.
they have really strong feelings about Hades and they think that he's kind of an ass. And Hades thinks that like Zeus is an ass. It's like typical mythology stuff. And so
Yeah.
like, yeah, we'll help you to like stick it to our brother. Cool. So it's like you get all of this help escaping and you get stronger and stronger each time. And it's just really fun to see how the story comes together because it's not like with a lot of video games, you have story and then you have like side quest, and you can like do story stuff or you can do side quest stuff and you kind of bounce between. This is like every time you do a new attempt of escaping the underworld, you get a little more of the story each time. It's like breadcrumbs, and the way that it gets delivered is through different character interactions or coming into contact with different things in your space, and it's so cool. And the story is so much fun. So I if folks like video games, if you're a big video game person and you haven't played this game, it's really fun, and it just has like really cool art as well. The art style is I don't even know how to describe it. Just Google it. Google the Hades video game and you'll see some of the scenes that they depict of like the underworld. And the music. Oh my god, the music is so good. I just listen to the
What
soundtrack
console is
sometimes.
it on?
So I play it on PlayStation, but I think it's probably available on Xbox. You could probably play it on PC at this point. It's been out long enough. I'm sure there's a PC version. So yeah, I think whatever you have, you can probably make it work. Probably not on Switch, but maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look into that, but it's great. It's a great video game.
Amazing. That
Mm-hmm.
sounds really cool. I don't have
It
a
is.
console, but maybe I'll see if it's
Mhm.
on PC.
See if it's on PC. Give it a try. It's really fun, and the story. It's worth it for the story. Like getting little bits of it here and there. And then, oh
Yeah.
my god, there's a particular song. I'll send it to you after this if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. I like the first time I heard this song because like one of the characters is like a I'm not gonna say who he is, but he is a court musician and he like plays music when you return back to Hades in the underworld. And this like one of the times you come back, this song started playing and I was like, my jaw like dropped. I was like, this is beautiful. The music too is just it's so stellar. So I'll send that to
That's
you
awesome.
after.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. So the next category is podcasts, and I could have put a few more in here again.
Yeah.
But Spotify has been doing these Spotify originals, which are fiction stories,
Hmm.
and they're usually like 8 to 10 episodes. They have like pretty famous people doing them. There's one that has Julianne Moore and Oscar Isaac doing
Oh,
it. But the one that I'm talking about is called Batman Unburied. Shocker, it's a
nice.
Batman one.
Nice.
But Winston Duke is playing Batman. If you don't know Winston Duke, he's M'Baku in Black Panther. He was in Us. He's in a ton of things. He's incredible. He was also in, this is going to be a side note to get one of my favorite movies ever in here, even though it didn't come out this year. It's called 9 Days, and it is like probably my favorite movie ever. He's in that too, and he is like completely different from anything else he's in.
Hmm.
He's just an incredible actor. So he plays Batman, and it is a podcast like fiction story, and Batman is living in a world where his parents are still alive, but
Oh.
things are wrong. And throughout the story, you find out kind of what's going on, and it's got the Riddler and a lot of like really great villains and storyline. And it was just like the whole time I was like walking my dog listening, just like riveted. It is just so good. And I think it would be a good podcast, even if you don't really care about Batman, because it obviously it is Batman. It has like Batman mythology. I don't think you
Yeah.
call it
I
mythology,
mean, I
but
would
like,
call it mythology at this point. Like Batman
yeah,
is kind of its own entity
yeah.
at this point.
Okay. So
I
it's
would
got
count
like
that.
things that have to do with Batman,
Yeah.
but I think you could enjoy it whether or not you know anything about Batman. And it's
Yeah.
Winston Duke. Come on.
That's really
Like, come on.
cool.
Yeah.
And I love that idea of doing like 8 to 10 episodes of a podcast to tell a story, and then to
Yeah.
have like really famous actors come in and depict the character. That's really fascinating. I didn't even know they were doing
Yeah.
that.
And it's really cool because it's like those old-timey radio shows where it has
Oh yeah,
like all of the sounds and like background noise. And so it's like a
that's
whole
cool.
production. It's really cool. I would also recommend Case 63, which is the one that has Oscar Isaac and Julianne Moore. Just really good. Really, really
Wow,
good.
that's so
Yeah.
cool. Oh man, I love that. I love that recommendation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out.
You should. You
Yeah.
should. The Case 63 one is like sci-fi, and you probably would like that one.
Okay.
Um, so yeah.
Yeah.
And now, drum roll,
Drum
we've
roll.
gotten to our last category, which is
Woo!
YouTube.
YouTube. I added a YouTube to my list just to really round things out. And this might seem like a really random ad, but I love this channel so much. I just discovered it this year.
Okay.
She's been around for a while, I think, but like this year I discovered her, and I just have been telling everybody about this. In fact, actually, Steph, I don't think I've told you that I watched this
I
channel.
don't think you have. I'm like,
This
what are
is
you
a great
talking about?
opportunity. Okay, so there is this woman who lives in Finland, and she cleans people's houses for free. And what
Okay.
I love so much about this channel is she will go in and help people who are dealing with mental health conditions, who, whether they're dealing with substance use or they have depression or anxiety or whatever it is. And it's gotten so bad to where their homes are very messy and they just really need help cleaning, and they can't afford it
Mm-hmm.
because often they're in situations where they just can't afford to hire a cleaner, and most cleaners charge a lot if the houses are like this far gone. And she cleans, like that's her job, and so she just started doing these jobs on the weekends for free to help people. And she now has like a YouTube channel, and she puts a new video out every week. It's this combination of, I love it because I just love knowing that she exists in the world, that there's a person who would do something so kind. And she's so nice about it. She doesn't judge people. And she actually spends time while she's cleaning kind of talking about, like, yeah, this sometimes happens when people are dealing with situations. And if the person is comfortable, she'll share their story and kind of tell you how it got to where it's at. And it just gives you like this really good sense of how this could happen to anybody, and it kind of helps normalize that, which I think is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also so satisfying, like it, to watch things go from complete mess to see like how clean she gets them. Oh, it gives me a rush. I just I sit there watching, and sometimes she'll like pull out a pan and it's really really dirty, and I'm like, there's no way she's going to get that clean. There's no way. I would just throw that out. There's no way. And then she'll like, do her thing, and she'll like show the before and after, and I'm like, oh damn, she did it again. Like, how did she do it? I
Does she
watch it
use a
like
lot of
people watch
scrub
sports.
daddies?
She does scrub daddies. Yeah, have you seen anything? She has like
So
TikTok.
yeah, I think I
Uh-huh.
follow her on TikTok.
Yes,
I
she
follow
is
someone
amazing.
who does the exact same thing on TikTok, so maybe it's
Yeah,
her.
her
I didn't realize. Does she have a like an accent?
she does. Yeah, so her name is Audi
Okay, so it's not
Catalina.
the same person.
Okay, so maybe not, but no, like she is just. I don't know. I just love this channel so much. It's when you're talking about Big Mouth being your comfort watch, like this is kind of my comfort watch. Sometimes I'll
Yeah.
put it on and I also like clean my living room while I'm watching her clean. It just feels like this nice little moment
Yeah.
of calm. And
I'm gonna
she's
have to
just so
send you the
sweet.
person I follow on
Send me.
TikTok because
Yeah.
it's a similar like itch to
Oh,
scratch for me too, where
yes.
it's like really bad houses and she does it for free. But yeah, I totally get that. And I really like it sounds like they have similar like philosophies where they do
Mhm.
it for people who have mental health issues or are disabled and it's just gotten out of hand.
Yeah,
I just think that that is so cool
it
and
is.
kind.
It's
So,
amazing. It's
yeah.
made me feel like I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, what if I offered to clean somebody's house for free? Like, I'm not like a professional cleaner, but I do like cleaning. I find cleaning very soothing. I'm like, man, I could see because she gets really excited about it. She's like, this is fun for me because I love to clean, and I'm like, I get that because I'm kind of like that too. So that like satisfaction factor. Oh,
Yeah.
like maybe
Some of
one
those
day.
houses though are like really dangerous
That's true.
at like how far they've gotten and
That is true.
unhealthy to you need like all kinds of
You got to have the
equipment and
gear.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But
Yeah.
it's just amazing, like watching that transformation and just watching her kind of like talk you through it and just how her great attitude. She has just such a good attitude about it, and
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Well, we kind of went all over the place from
Yeah.
like cannibals to cleaning to gay pirates
We
and
got it
all over
all.
the place. We got
Yeah,
a something for everyone.
that's right. Hopefully you found something you like on our list. If not, I guess
Hopefully.
we need to get more wild next year. But I think we covered a lot of bases.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. Don't forget that this is the last episode of this season for us. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok at SomewhereEastPod for future updates. If you liked this episode, we'd love it if you gave us a like or rated us 5 stars or comment what made it into your top 10. And don't forget to subscribe. We have been Steph.
And Steph. And now we're going to go get started binging all of our 2023 media. So excuse us.
Woo!
Bye.
Bye.